Morning everyone, and welcome back to the Runpreneur vlog, where we discuss all things entrepreneurship and running. It is a very fresh morning. Feels like -2 degrees out here. A little bit breezy today, so a little bit chilly for my liking. But it's Monday motivation day today, where we discuss all things productivity, motivation, and that side of things. And today's topic is the productive, unproductive, attractive, unattractive productivity quadrant, and how you can use it to help kickstart your productivity in your business. So as always, if you like this video, please give it a like and a subscribe, and let's get started. So, the productive, unproductive, attractive, unattractive quadrant for productivity. Okay, so this was, I actually learned this from a book called Hyperfocus by Chris Bailey, who's seen as a productivity expert around the globe. Really cool book. Chris Bailey's done multiple productivity books, all have been super useful, and this one, Hyperfocus, is about how to hyperfocus as opposed to spreading yourself too thinly and focusing on all manner of number of things that can be so distracting in our daily lives. So it's how to get that kind of laser-like focus. And this is a quadrant that he introduced or identified that was cool. Now I've used different types of quadrants in the past, i.e. I've used Eisenhower's kind of prioritisation quadrant, which is urgent, not urgent, important, not important, as the kind of quadrant. And let me just get past this lady. Morning. And basically how the difference in levels: if it's important and urgent, top priority; if it's important, not urgent, second tier down, you schedule it for the future; if it's not important or urgent, you you delegate it; and if it's not important or not urgent, you just can it altogether, delete it. So that's the kind of prioritisation metrics I used to use. This is something new that Chris Bailey's introduced, and well, I wouldn't say it's new, but it's something that I'm trying to kind of toy with at the moment because I think it's really cool. And basically what he's saying is there's 4 different types of work, and work being the word you don't want to misinterpret, because it's not just about work, it can be about everyday stuff. It doesn't have to be directly associated with a work or a job. But there's purposeful work. This is the hyper-focus stuff. This is the stuff that you're put on the planet for, the stuff that is going to drive you and your business forward, if that's the case. There's purposeful work, there's necessary work. Now this is stuff that you might not enjoy doing, but it's super important to the kind of progression of your business. It might be managing your team, for example. Could be necessary work. You've then got distracting work, which is stuff that you do, which is very much distracting, and you've then got unnecessary work. Okay, so they're the kind of 4 different categories, and technically any task can be put into one of these categories. So let's go through. So when we talk about purposeful focus, that is for productive and necessary work. Not necessary, productive, yeah. Productive and attractive work, sorry. So productive, attractive is the top. That's purposeful. That's stuff you love to do, but it makes a massive difference to you and your business. So it could be the strategic elements of your business, planning for future product launches. It could be stuff that's really driving your business on. It could be launching a podcast. It could be anything that's going to take you to the next step up on your kind of pathway to success, if you like. And so that's category number 1. Category number 2 is productive but unattractive. Okay, now this is necessary work. Okay, so this is stuff that makes a massive difference. It's productive stuff. So managing your team meetings, these are things that get lots of stuff done, but you might not particularly enjoy doing them as you would if you were launching your own podcast or planning a product launch or something along those lines, which is your purposeful work, but it's super important. So that's necessary work, so understand that. The next one is distracting work. Now this is stuff that's unproductive but attractive. So this is stuff where people get addicted to scrolling through social media, watching Netflix, video games, WhatsApp messaging, all of this stuff that you probably really enjoy doing, but it's unproductive. It doesn't push you forward in any way, shape or form. In fact, it slows you down. So understand what this distracting work is, and then you can start limiting those distractions. And the last one is unproductive and unattractive. That's just unnecessary work. So this is stuff that you just bin off altogether. So it might be, resorting some files, or something that's really administrative that isn't going to make a difference to your business other than, tidy the office or some kind that, you haven't lost anything in the office, so why are you tidying it? That type of thing. So unnecessary and unattractive is stuff that you just can altogether. So understanding this quadrant gives you a whole new kind of perspective on things, because it's not necessarily the urgency and the importance prioritisation. There's no reason why you can't use these together as well, but you don't want it to be kind of overkill and end up spending too much time like categorising your tasks rather than doing them yourselves. That would fall into unnecessary work, so don't do that. But if you are finding it super useful and you're struggling to differentiate between which kind of prioritisation or productivity quadrant you're going to use, but I quite like this new one. It just makes it a little bit easier. Sometimes it's quite difficult to determine what's important or what's not important. Urgency is normally quite easy in Eisenhower's, but the important stuff is quite difficult. Whereas when you change the word to productive, it's quite easy, isn't it? It's like, well, is that going to be productive to my mission or the goals or the milestones we've set? Is that going to push me closer to that? If it does, then yes, it's productive. If it doesn't, it's unproductive. So it's quite easy. And attractive and unattractive, super easy, isn't it? It's like, do you enjoy doing it or do you not? And the stuff you enjoy doing is like, yeah, okay, that's easy to work out. The stuff you hate doing or you don't enjoy doing is unattractive. So this is often an easier way to get a system in place of prioritisation of your tasks, and understanding the 4 different types of work that correspond with each quadrant. So implementing this, I haven't done it officially yet, but I'm playing around with it a little bit at the moment behind the scenes, and I think the early conclusion from my side is that it is definitely easier to use, because there's still stuff that, I've been using Eisenhower's matrix for as long as I can remember, and there's still times where I go back through things and I think, well, why did I give that a level of importance when it's not? So I still get that wrong. Whereas I'm going to try and trial this one over the coming months, because I think that it's easier to categorise things in the correct areas, and if you do that correctly, then it should be easier to kind of understand the different types of work and how you kind of focus on which type and when. And if you link this with kind of the difference between hyperfocus and scatterfocus, or purposeful focus in the hyperfocus term, purposeful focus and scatterfocus, and integrate that with your biological prime time for your energy levels, you can really, really supercharge the productivity levels of you and your business. So, I hope this has been useful. So if I was going to summarise this episode, the productive, unproductive, attractive, unattractive quadrant is a way of task categorisation or prioritisation to get the most return out of the time you put into it. So it's a prioritisation metrics, and to summarise it, you've got productive, attractive, which is quadrant number 1. That's purposeful work. Okay, quadrant number 2 is productive, unattractive. That's work type necessary work. Okay, that's like delegating to your team or team meetings, etc., stuff like that. Number 3 is unproductive but attractive. That's distracting work. These are things you need to limit. You don't limit them all together because it's important you keep that kind of fun factor in your life, but this could be watching Netflix or video games, social media scrolling, these types of things. These are distractions. And quadrant 4 is unproductive, unattractive. This is stuff that you do for the sake of doing it. It's not making any difference to what you're doing in your life. It's like it could be refiling, refiling your filing cabinet or something, which if it still works, it's not broke, don't fix it. It's completely unnecessary work, so don't do it. So hope this has been useful. It's a good way of implementing something into your working world, which should be quite easy to do, and hopefully you'll get pretty significant productivity gains from doing so. So pretty much it for me today. As always, if you like this episode, please give it a like and a subscribe. If this is irrelevant to you, then no problem there whatsoever. Just unfollow. You don't have to unfriend me. Unfollowing it will stop you seeing my content in your social feeds. But before you do that, you want to check out the YouTube channel, pure and simply because I do a different topic on every day of the week. So just because today's topic may not be relevant, tomorrow or the day after's may be. So check out the YouTube channel where all the different topics are catalogued nice and neatly by playlist, and it's a completely free resource you can dip in and out of on an ad hoc basis. Also make sure you check out the Facebook Runpreneur community group, whereby all my free resources are housed there, and really cool. So make sure you don't miss out on that. If you are looking at the first one that's been housed is or published is my 70-step process for content repurposing, reformatting and optimising across all your social channels. So if you are looking to put more content out there and you want to get a better return on it, then check out my 70-step process that I go through every single day, and hopefully it'll be super useful to you in your content creation journey. So that's pretty much it for me. As always, the Runpreneur vlog was set up to help entrepreneurs and business owners overcome those emotions of stress, anxiety and overwhelm by using exercise, and in my case running, as a release valve or release mechanism to control, manage and thrive under these emotions. There's so many, or in fact every entrepreneur and business owner experiences. It's often the difference between success and failure, how well that entrepreneur deals with these emotions. The ones that do it well have control, they understand it, they can maintain clarity, focus and control, and they go on to bigger and better things. The ones that don't do it very well, they struggle with kind of entrepreneurial pride or entrepreneurial freeze, entrepreneurial procrastination, and pressure just builds up. And the stress, it builds up like pressure, which turns into anxiety and overwhelm. And then when pressure builds up for too long, something breaks. And unfortunately, it's usually the entrepreneur has a breakdown or the business fails. So either or is going to be pretty devastating to the likelihood of you achieving your goals in the future. Now, I've been there. I've lost multiple businesses because of this. I've lost multiple business partners because of this. And I've almost been bankrupt because of this. So I'm pretty well experienced in these trials and tribulations of being an entrepreneur. And as a result, I've now got this kind of routine in my life where exercise and running is so important. It just keeps me level. It keeps me, I process stuff so much more effectively. And as a result, I've taken on more than I've ever taken on. I'm progressing faster than I've ever progressed. And I just think it's so game changing. I want to give this back and try and help others that are struggling in positions that I have done in the past. So my pledge is, if you are an entrepreneur struggling with this, you feel you've got no one to turn to, drop me a comment, okay? Or drop me a personal message. There's absolutely no catch here whatsoever. All I'm going to do is we'll arrange a call. I'll jump on a quick call and I'll try and give you a few hints and tips on what you can do to hopefully improve your situation and get you back on the path to success. As I always said, that if this vlog just helps one entrepreneur or one business, it's been 1,000,000% worthwhile. So don't be too stubborn, the support is there. Just reach out. Many have done already, and hopefully they're implementing the steps into their lives positively as we speak. So that's it for me today. As always, if you like this video, please give it a like, a comment and a subscribe. If you want to check out similar content, check out the playlist link below. And all that's left to say, as always, is stay positive, stay happy. I'll see you tomorrow.